Hello, subscribers. Hello again. This is video number 2 on the Sun in Virgo. So first I'm going to cover the transition from Leo to Virgo, and I'm going to contextualize that a little bit in terms of the new moon solar eclipse, which was just under 29 Virgo. So essentially 2 new moons during Virgo, right? And the last one is a super intense one that we've all been dealing with. And then I'm going to talk about that transition from Leo to Virgo, kind of in that context. And then I'll talk about some aspects and the sun's path through the sign for the month, including the 2 lunations. First, the Pisces full moon on September 6th, and then the Virgo new moon on the 19th. Okay, so let's start with the transition from Leo to Virgo. If you've been following along over years or the last few months, I've been doing this, periodically I do this, and then I did do it the last few months, talking about the cycle of the zodiac. You can think about it in terms of the energies of houses as well as signs. And this idea of masculine, feminine is often how it's portrayed when we learn astrology. Active, receptive, or active, passive, whatever, masculine, feminine. And, beaming energy out or receiving energy in. And Aries is this announcing existence. Taurus is pulling energy in after Aries, pulling energy in order to figure out what's worth keeping. We announce existence, we run around in Aries, we're very physical, and then we want to pull back in Taurus to figure out what's worth feeding. So what are our values? How can we ensure survival? How can we line things up in the right way in order to make things work? And then once that's done, then we have this sense of Gemini. Well, let me explore the world around me. Let me think and ask questions and gather data, research, explore. Once that's done, then we have this urge to nest and to put down roots. We know where we are, right? We know we exist, Aries. We know how to survive, Taurus. Gemini, we know where we are. Cancer, okay, then let me pull energy back in and nest and root and figure out what's going on the inside and deal with my needs and nurture myself and whatever. Then Leo, once the nesting is done, Leo is, oh great, now I have a foundation. Let me play. Let me see what's possible. Let me find out what's going on. So there's this outgoing thing to Leo. And then Virgo, once you have sown those wild oats, so to speak, or once you've experienced that, the athletics and the play and the performance and the sexuality of the outgoing Leo thing, the solar thing, then let's pull it back into Virgo, and that's where we are this month. So just thanks for bearing with me on this long intro, but I want you to be aware of that progression always. For us, we don't, I'm telling the story in terms of the sun is in a particular sign for a month, so let's look at this. But we don't progress from one to the other. We don't really do that. We just kind of notice what theme is emphasized. So as I'm telling you the story from 1 to 6, realize that, go back and work on those things in the earlier ones if you need to. If those foundations, if those kinds of core mission statements aren't established, because in Virgo, the pulling of energy is to look out how I can improve. How can I be useful? How can I be of service? How can I help? How can I get over some of my egoic concerns in order to be useful or of service or of help? How can I improve something? So the very nature of Virgo energy isn't this outgoing, I have to fix everything. If you notice people with strong Virgo influences in their charts, and we're dealing now at this part of the timeline with a bunch of people who have Pluto in Virgo. And so this fundamental underpinning of the personality of the unconscious memories from many lives, there's a lot of Virgo stuff in there, which can be the need to be outgoing, to prove you can improve something or make something better, the need to overcome perceptions and shortcomings. This is kind of like Virgo karmic stuff. So here the sun's in Virgo, the giant flashlight in the sky is putting light on what can be improved. Now, the process of that has to do with being critical, because you have to be aware of what isn't perfect in order to actually improve something, to know what to improve. And this is where we get into one of the Achilles heels of Virgo energy is not choosing wisely what is done, what behaviors are engaged in. Because it's possible to have this, I have to fix this, I have to fix that, this kind of like, hungry thing to try to stave off chaos in order to avoid or stave off panic. So Virgo's about discernment and discrimination and making choices, not just being of service. Those of you who have the Pluto in Virgo and it's birthed from like 1957-ish, 58-ish, up through 1971, 72. So anyone's born in the 60s has it. And then the people at the tail end of the 50s and, nose end or head end of the 70s might have it too. But you have an underlying deep need to do something Virgoan. It might not be grounded. You might not have learned over the course of many lives. This is what I tell people with Pluto and Virgo. You may not have been able to choose in a bunch of lives what you serve. And so in your unconscious are memories of doing what has to be done or what should be done. So backtracking just a second. In Leo, you're like, that's fun. That's not fun. This is fun. I enjoy this. I don't like that. This is what I think. This is what I don't think, right? And then in Virgo, it all comes inward. Let me focus on what I can improve. The tendency will be in some people, especially those of you who have karmic indicators in the chart, Pluto, South Node ruler in Virgo, meaning you have a bunch of lifetimes of memories that may be unprocessed or maybe unhealthily clinged onto about Virgo stuff. You can may find yourself much more critical than normal of everything you do or of what you think or what you say, even what others think or say or what they do. So the solar month of Virgo can be very annoying for everybody else because everybody else isn't worried about being detail-oriented, but if you have a strong Virgo influence in your chart, it's important for your identity. So just recognize that just because the sun went from Leo into Virgo doesn't mean you can't enjoy things. It also doesn't mean automatically that everything that isn't perfect is automatically wrong or in desperate need of changing. Choose what is important to you. And this is kind of an earth sign invitation. What matters? In Taurus, it's lining up the right things for survival. In Capricorn, it's lining up things for long-term success. In Virgo, it's lining up things to actually improve processes. And if you think about that, the gap from basic survival to long-term thriving and success from Taurus to Capricorn, the middle part is Virgo, which is a process improvement, looking at details, analyzing what isn't working so you can take apart big things to change little things, put it back together, and have it work better. That's the impulse of Virgo. It is about literally service as well, helping, healing, making something better. Some people, the service, making things better idea is in repair and craft work, technical work. In other people, it's hands-on.